Okay, so it's episode 26.
Oh, did you just look it up?
Yeah, cheated.
26.
Episode 26.
Man.
Amazing, right? I mean, we've been doing these for a few years now.
Yeah. Is this the third year we've been doing? I think this is the third year we've been doing these episodes. So 26 isn't bad. That's pretty good.
I think you might be right. Well, yeah, it's not bad. I'm gonna get told off by one of my suppliers. That sounds terrible. But one of the PR companies that provided the one of the albums I'm going to review said try and review it near the time of release, and it's not out until the 13th of June.
That's less than a month. That's
well, it's also it's that honestly that was so parenty of you there. That really was.
I mean, well, I am a parent, so
I know, but that was the parent. It's less than a month.
Yeah. Let's look on the bright
Christmas.
side here.
I wish Christmas would hurry up. It's less than a month.
Yeah.
So yeah, good point. I'll use that as an argument. And one of them is coming out on May the 30th. That's right. 2 albums that are not out yet.
Sweet. I'm doing albums that have all already been released. So I have unfortunately I have nothing special that I got early, unfortunately.
Well, I'm doing those, but I've also got something that everyone can get for free. I guess that's no big deal, really, is it? But yeah, a demo. I'm reviewing a demo.
Oh, nice.
I know. And a couple of albums are already out. And in fact, one that's been out since, well, forever.
Oh.
I can't tell you how long because I thought I had the CD with me, but I don't. I just have the cardboard box. CD's in the car.
I have a question for you before we get started, like a track review. If you've heard this track, I would like to hear your 2 cents on it. If you
right, well, I can almost certainly say I have not heard it, whatever it is, because I have not heard anything recently.
Okay, so you've not heard the new Dark Angel track?
I have.
Okay, now I would like you before I say anything, I'd like to know what you thought of the new Dark Angel track, which is called Extinction Level Event.
I'm looking forward to the album.
That's all you're going to say?
Yeah, I'm looking for. I mean, look, they're right behind me there.
Yeah.
Toured together, it just doesn't resemble any Dark Angel I've ever heard before. So. I guess I need to wrap my brain around it. I've only listened to it once, and I was like, right, okay, that's all I need. I've listened to that once, fine.
Okay.
As I always say about a single, I don't know. It's like for me, an album is a book, and if you're going to just like pluck out any old chapter and chuck it at me, it's not going to make any sense, and I don't understand the context.
Yeah, I get that, and I'm usually. For something that I'm actually looking forward to in some way, I will give the full album a try. But I listened to this song several times because the first time around I was like, is this good or not good? And then by the third time I've listened to it, the answer is it's not good.
I got there pretty quickly, mate. I got there in one listen.
Yeah, and I think it's just because obviously the performance is fine and the production is fine and clearly the drumming is fine. But I mean, I was just so like, it just sounded. I don't know. I can't even explain it. It just sounded underwhelming, but. It had that thing where like bands come back and they play something super fast and aggressive, and then the lyrics are just sort of vague about end of the world kind of shit. And then the majority of the people that like that kind of music and they're just gonna eat that shit up anyway. And then I'm left over here going like, could you have done something more interesting or or at least something that like, because it's not even a song that it has anything like that I thought about later. Like I completely forgot how the song went. That's how unmemorable it is. So,
yeah.
But I'm holding out. I'm holding out for the album because, that in the context of a greater album could be totally fine. So,
I'm
but
yeah. I mean, I'm down for the album, obviously,
yeah,
massively,
yeah.
and I have to say that uh, disappointed. I I didn't understand it. I didn't as a song. I I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
I probably spent more time reading all of the negative comments than I did actually.
Well, that makes me feel better. I
Listen.
didn't look at any comments, so I always assume I'm the weirdo. So,
No, I mean I haven't seen anywhere where it hasn't got a real kicking.
oh, okay. Well, that I feel a little better, but yeah. And to be fair, like I'm not a massive Dark Angel fan, but I do like them. So it's not like I'm, there's probably people who are like massive fans who maybe are willing to give it, a little bit more
Oh, it
credit.
seems like the fans are the ones who are really
Oh
pissed.
shit. Well, I guess if you come back after that long, I mean, Acid Rain came back after that long, and they stop. Every time I give you a compliment, you start giggling. But you guys came back with songs. Well, I guess first you came back with one song, and that one song was enough to go, "Oh shit, these dudes are back." And so that's kind of what I want whenever a band has been gone for a long time, and then they put out one track or a new track. I don't know. I expect you to be kind of excited somehow, but
Yeah, yeah.
anyway,
I know. I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, there's an album done. Let's see. How it goes. I think it was an interesting vocal approach. I'm not sure whether I want a whole album of that.
yeah,
But we'll see.
yeah, okay,
I mean, you know, I've got a funny feeling that I'm going to be made to like kind of eat my words when the album comes out. Well, not
sure,
eat my words. I haven't said anything drastically negative, but I just think that it just threw me. It
yeah.
just threw me because it was just very very dense, and I found it kind of really hard to navigate.
The structure is a little weird. It does.
It was Leave Scarsy weird.
Yeah, but in my memory, it's the entire song is just him going extinction level event over and over again. And I'm like, well, that's not a good impression when that's literally the only thing that you bring away from a song. But anyway, so yeah, obviously we'll talk about the full album when it comes out, and then maybe we'll
absolutely
feel different. Honestly, I'm the first person to say that I love when I'm wrong about something. Love it. It's my favorite thing ever. When I hear something and I go, oh, I'm not into this at all. And then like a few months later, I go, what the fuck was I thinking? Those are the best feelings. So,
Who doesn't love a nice surprise?
Metal fans, apparently.
Well,
Some of them seem like they would like the same thing over and over again from somebody. But anyway, whatever. That's a different, that's an argument that I make about 1 million times every year on shitloads of videos. But let's get to albums.
Yes.
Because this is a no nonsense beginning though. We kind of just jumped right in, and I was like,
well, yeah, that's down to you and your professionalism. You see, I'm more than happy to just like talk shit about. Oh my god, like which episode is it? And, although admittedly, I did look it up. So yeah.
But I've got 4 albums to talk about. One of which, if you're not also going to talk about it, I'm going to be a little disappointed. So maybe we should start with that one.
Okay, let's start with that one.
If you're going to talk about it or not.
I can't think what it is.
Propagandhi, At Peace.
Oh shit! Yeah, I'm late to the party, mate.
Oh, you haven't heard it?
Didn't realize it was out yet.
It has been out for a couple weeks now.
Shit.
Well, then let me take the lead here and give you something to look forward to, because it is fantastic.
Awesome.
And it's fantastic in some ways that I was not expecting. So like we're talking about when you're surprised by something.
Yeah.
So yeah, the album's called At Peace, and it's Propagandhi. If you guys don't know Propagandhi, they're I used to call them a punk band, but there's elements of punk in there, but they've been around since the early 90s. And I've been into them since high school. I was in high school when their first album came out, and I've been a fan ever since. But they've become more and more kind of metallic, I guess, and melodic. And I think this is like, I don't know, their 8th album, maybe something like that. But they are maturing and progressing in a very, for lack of a better word, beautiful way here. Because there's still a lot of stuff that just kind of, you go, oh, that sounds like a Propagandhi song or that, but there's a lot of slower stuff on here compared to like what you're normally used to for Propagandhi. And then you've got like the bass player who occasionally does songs on some of the albums, the vocals on some of the songs. He's started doing more melodic vocals, and his stuff is becoming even more like, the songs have a depth to them that I'm just like, this is like, it takes a few listens, because some of the songs, they're kind of heavy. You're like, and I don't mean heavy like metal, I mean heavy like the feeling of them. And I'm just like, man, because these guys like do have that ability to do like a scorching, like fucking, riff-o-rama kind of song that's just like crazy fast, and then follow it up with something that's gonna make you feel some shit, and you're just like, wow, I didn't expect to feel this. Yeah. And so there's a lot of that. There's a lot of feeling stuff on this album, because it does tackle a lot of like, if it, like, imagine if you're like the angry young band that's just mad at all the horrible things going on in the world, and now you've reached the point where you realize that you're the old man and everything's still fucked up, and what do you do now? And it's just so great. It's so well written, and they are. I expected to like this album, but this is one of those albums that I enjoyed it the first listen, but it's calling me back. Like, you didn't get everything out of these songs just yet. Come back here. And there's plenty of stuff on here where they're leaning a little bit more into the metal side of things than they even ever have before.
Wow, right, okay. And that's not something they've ever done that I'm aware of.
Yeah, no, there's been metal in all of their albums since the early 2000s. Metal-ish parts.
I know what you mean, but not like, for me, they're always they're more of a hardcore band than,
There's still elements of that too, yeah. But there are riffs on this, and that I'm just like, yeah, this is just it's an 80s metal kind of riff on this one part of a song or whatever. But they find ways to blend these things together, where I'm pretty sure that if you're a punk fan, there's enough elements in here where you could still call Propagandhi a punk band. But if you're depending on what side you're on, you could call them hardcore, or call them you could even call them metal. I mean, for people that don't listen to that much metal, some of this stuff is probably very metal. But yeah, it's just a really great album, and it's just the band maturing in a really amazing way that I wasn't expecting, and I'm very impressed by. I just can't believe that band that I was into in high school, and they were these like angry snot-nosed kids doing these kind of fuck the government type songs, and now they've become this, and like every step of the way it's been enjoyable to hear them progress and mature, and along with all of us. So yeah, highly recommended. Propagandhi at Peace. And then obviously when you get a chance to listen to it, you can maybe on the next
I've just whilst you're doing that review, I've found it, bought it, downloaded it, and got it queued up for as soon as we're finished.
Cool. Yeah, you'll know what I'm talking about. Song number 1, once you hear the riff in the first song, you're going to be like, hello? But it's great.
Right, okay.
But yeah, it's a great album. It basically is. It's an album that the way that I like it, where it gives you a lot of different flavors and takes you on a journey. All the songs are great. Performance is great. Blah, 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 blah. Do it. So
awesome. I can't wait, mate. I can't wait. I'm just genuinely excited.
Yeah.
Right. Let's get straight into this is a band who've been on my been on Talking Bollocks, and I coordinated the interview with the release of their new album. and it's a band called Cancer. Now,
Oh, yes.
yes. Now,
Classic death metal band.
yeah, and I was never really into the band previously, but new album, Inverted World, and I got sent it, and I thought, well, we must have bumped into each other at some point, so I'm gonna listen to this album, and then I'm gonna sort of, if I like it, get the dude on, because I just can't interview people about stuff that I don't like.
Oh, I'm the same way. Is James Murphy involved? Because I know he was in the band back in the day for a little bit. I don't know if he's back or
No.
not. Okay.
No. No. I mean, he was kind of like around for a very short time.
Yeah. I think that's why I knew the band, because way back in the day, he was on whatever the first Cancer album I heard was. I
Yes.
just remember James Murphy was on it, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Ooh, this is fucking great." I don't. My favorite thing before you get into this album, they put out an album a few years ago, and I liked it, but I loved it. There's a song on it called "Ball Cutter," and then the lyrics, he's like "Ball Cutter," and I just every time I hear that song, I giggle in the best way possible. I'm like, "Hey, Ball Cutter, that's a hell of a song right there."
Well, the only original member is John Walker, who is guitar and vocals, and so I came to this kind of like afresh, and I really like it. It's in regular rotation. I'm not much of a death metal fan, but so much of this reminds me of that classic Florida death metal era. I mean, one of their albums, I think a couple of their albums were produced by Scott Burns.
Yep.
I had a great chat with the dude. Like we went way back, and he was talking about hanging out with the Florida crew, as it were, back in the day.
Yeah.
And it was really enjoyable. And I'd already, like I said, I'd already played the album a few times. So this is really cool. I want to get this dude on, and I've just continued to play it. And it just like I said, it reminds me of that sort of classic death metal era. You were almost expecting a James Murphy guitar solo to come wafting in any minute.
Yeah.
And it's brutal. It's just like really fucking straight ahead, which I like.
Yeah.
And it's kind of death metal before blast beats.
Yep.
And that's my favorite kind of death metal. My favorite kind of death metal is sort of spiritual healing, leprosy era death. Mm-hmm. And I don't even like death after that.
Yeah.
I don't really go deep on the on their catalog after that. I'm early doors, first three albums: Scream Bloody Gore, Leprosy, Spiritual Healing, and then I kind of tuned out a bit with Human, which is weird because Gene plays on it. But yeah. So there you go. I've really kind of summed it up very easily.
I've heard that album already, because I got it, but I only listened to it once. But I'm all like, what was it called again? I'm trying to remember what the
Inverted World.
Inverted World. Okay, yeah.
Are you looking it up on your huge database of?
Yep, I got it right in front of me. Okay, so I have heard this. Yeah, because I remember the album cover, but yeah, and then that was my takeaway. Like it was one of those things where I got so busy with so many things, I listened to it, and
that was my takeaway.
And I liked
I've heard this.
No, my takeaway was what you were saying about it being like straightforward classic death metal, and I was like, oh yeah, it was, and I enjoyed it. And then I got busy and just totally forgot about it, and I'm like, oh okay, well thank you for bringing it back to me, because now I will.
No, not at all, mate.
Time.
Yeah, do. It's very cool, man. It's very cool.
I mean, I love these bands, still doing shit. I don't love all of it. I think Benediction put something new out, and I hear things about it, and I go, oh, this is good. I'm glad they're still doing it. Whether I love it or not, that just makes me happy that these bands that when I was a teenager were like kicking it and like they're still like, oh, we got a new album. I'm like, fuck yeah, this is so great, because we're in that era now where like death metal is old people.
Basically.
And I'm enjoying the hell out of it. I'm like, yeah, we don't have to grow up. We're still gonna be, hurtling towards 60 and trying to do guttural vocals. Let's do it. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
So
cool.
yeah.
Well,
look, it rocks for me. I'm all in.
Moving on to a modern. I say modern because they don't sound modern, but a newer band, and their newest album, arguably one of the biggest metal bands in the world right now. And I don't know how we've never talked about this band, I don't think. So right now is the time to have this discussion. But the new Ghost album, Skelata.
Oh yeah,
Skelata.
fuck Ghost. Fuck Ghost in the fucking ass.
We're doing anal with Ghost.
No, just every orifice in the fucking face, ears, eyes, nose, mouth.
They're getting fucked, ladies and gentlemen. Ghost.
Yeah. Besides, there's no such fucking band. I'm not entertaining the concept at all that Ghost is a band. Can we just call it what it is?
On the album, it's definitely not a band. When they play live, they're a band.
But can we just call it what it is? What's his name?
Tobias Forge.
There we go. The latest Tobias Forge album.
Tobias Forge, a.k.a. Ghost. Clearly, Howard is a big fan.
I've got out the gate early here.
He's a big fan.
I've ruined the mystery, haven't I?
So Skelata is the name of the new album, and it's great, but
kind of doubt
that. This is great. Please don't stop. It makes my interviews or my reviews so much more interesting. So my relationship with Ghost was weird because I really liked their first album, and I'll placate you here. I really like his first album.
Lovely, thank you.
And then I kind of fell off and just lost track of them. And then they became like super popular. And then just one of those things where I just say, yeah, they don't need me anymore. But their last album really like brought me back because I just think it's amazing. And I think it's the best thing that he's done. And so I was looking forward to this one. And it really, for Ghost fans, it really delivers. It's pretty much everything that you're going to want from a Ghost album. It just sounds like some sort of 70s big budget metal, like a Blue Oyster Cult or whatever, or one of those kind of things. It's very he's leaned into the poppiness of some of that 70s metal stuff. From those bands that did the stuff that was a little more melodic and a little more accessible, while still maintaining.
Hell, I didn't think Ghost could go any more commercial. I mean, fucking selling baby grows at their shows on the merch stand. I thought you couldn't get more commercial than that. But
they have an interesting fan base because it spans the ages. Like, so there's kids into Ghost and there's old people into Ghost, and so. I think that it seems smart as a band or a whatever you want to call it, that if these people want all this quirky shit from you, then you give it to them. I mean,
you say smart, I say calculated.
Or that.
And when you say that quirky shit, I presume you mean their music.
I mean all the merch too. I mean everything.
Yeah.
I just feel like they're a band that knows their fan base, and he's a man that knows his fan base.
Yeah, no A&R man, right, has ever had to sit down with Tobias Forge and say, "Look, Tobias, we need to knock the corners off this thing if we're going to shift some units, man." Like Tobias turns up and goes, "Hey, that first album I did that like a lot of people into metal liked? Yeah, well, I've got that out of my system now. I'm going to knock the corners off myself and just." Just make it a lot more accessible.
Well, and to be fair, that first album's not the heaviest album that he did with Ghost. But and there's still a lot of metal elements on this. Once again, it's the kind of thing that if you don't listen to metal, this is very metal. but it's got enough catchy choruses and the production is really great. But at this point, they're a huge band. And when a band gets really popular, I will automatically be a little bit more skeptical or a little more critical of what they're putting out, because I'm like, well, look, you've got the money, you can do something interesting. And Ghost really haven't stopped doing things that I think are interesting within their song, within the songwriting and everything like that, and instrumentation and blah, blah, blah. So I give him huge kudos for the fact that he was able to create this band that's this fucking popular, but it's not really that much different from the first album when it comes to tone and the I guess the genre of the music, and the fact that he's able to take this stuff that's a lot of it's old school metal sounding stuff, and it becomes, popular. People like love it. I'm just like, well, and he's not like phoning it in. There's not like he's not making the same album over and over again. And so that makes me very impressed with him, because it would be very easy to just settle in and do whatever. But, and who knows, maybe that will happen, because in the grand scheme of things, Ghost is a newer band, especially for somebody like me. But at this point, I'm impressed and I'm on board and I'm a fan. I'm going to see them live with my kid, and as my kid's into Ghost. They're a teenager at this point, but still, so we're going to go check them out. And I don't know. I think they're a really fun band. And I like the fact that something like this is popular, considering the musical landscape, especially here in the United States, of stuff that's like topping the charts. It's all shit that I want fucking nothing to do with. Even the rock music is stuff I want nothing to do with. And so when something like this is actually entertaining and fun to me, I'm like, fuck yeah, way to go, Tobias Forge, on your newest solo album, Skelata. And you will be fucked in every orifice by Howard H. Smith.
Yeah. I am pleased for you. I'm pleased for you and all of the parents out there that you've got something for your kids to spend their pocket money on. And what can I say? It's just fucking Kiss all over again, isn't it? Advertised,
which is amazing.
Advertised like the Batmobile, sounds like the Mystery Machine. It's just, bait and switch. Look at this fucking evil stuff, and then the stuff that comes out of the speakers is just hilarious. Not a fan.
What? Really?
You
could have fooled
genuinely.
me.
I'm not a fan of anything he's ever done. And so, I haven't heard this album. Who knows? Maybe it turns me round.
It won't.
I kind of doubt it. Yeah. Right. Okay. Good. I get where you're coming from. Mm-hmm. I get where you're coming from, because you feel about them the way I feel about Rammstein.
Sure.
It's just that Rammstein's interesting. So, that's where they have the edge.
But yeah.
That's where they have the edge. It doesn't do anything for me. Like I said, I think Tobias Forge is a bit of I don't want to bandy the word genius around, because I've heard his albums and he's fucking not. But what he's done, which is sack a lot of people, is very clever. It's just at this point there is just a revolving door. It is literally like, here's an 18-month contract to do this on tour, and then fuck off. I'll be doing everything, and also you will be part of the audience that has to get rid of their phones as well, won't you? You'll be having your phone taken off you.
I've been to shows like that before. It doesn't really bother me that much.
Nothing against it. If you can afford to do that, as a band, as an artist, if you can afford to do that, then good on you.
Yeah. I honestly, to be fair, I don't like that. Like, I would prefer to not have my personal property locked up during a show, but we all know that people get fucking obnoxious with their phones at some shows. And so,
yeah, true. But also, I think it represents a level of sales. It represents a level of success.
Sure.
That because there's a twofold thing going on here. There is like they can afford to do it because it's not cheap.
Yeah.
All the extra, all of the extra logistics and everything else to take people's phones off them and then give them back is a fucking hassle and costs a lot of money. And that's
well, they buy those. Basically, you're given a bag that your phone goes in that locks and it goes back in your pocket, but you just can't get to it.
But
they have to buy those bags. They have to.
It all costs. It all costs.
Yeah.
So there's that element.
Yeah.
But then there is the much bigger element, which is the complete and total lack of social media buzz about your tour. It's basically, yes, the band can put out selected clips and the label can, but there is no other world where Instagram is just full of people's videos of this song and that song and, oh, look, I went to see them and blah, blah, blah. And that's a huge thing to let go. You've got to be a hell of a fucking big act to go, we don't need that. We don't need that.
Yeah.
Because that is fucking huge.
And
that
honestly,
that is your marketing, you know?
I don't like that anyway. Like that's the one thing that because when I go to a show, like I might film like a video of part of one song, just part of it, and then I'll move on, and that might be what I post. But I see people that post like 50 clips, and then there's 500 other people posting 50 clips, and I'm just like, oh, Jesus Christ, this is. And then some bands repost those things, and you just.
But especially if it's Ghost as well. Jesus, who the fuck wants to watch that? Well, you're right. Now I think about it.
A lot of people apparently.
So yeah, I mean, Tobias Forge, I'll probably respect him a lot more and like his stuff when he is an actual fucking ghost.
I like that. That was good.
There you go. Thank you.
You must be a comedian or something.
Hey, sometimes. Right. So I've gone from a band who's been around for years, putting an album, bringing an album back. Coming back with an album, which is marvelous. And I'm now going to go to a band who don't have an album out. They have, I said like a demo earlier. Mm-hmm. It's not a demo, it's an EP. Now, the band is a UK thrash metal band from Birmingham called Exorcism.
Okay.
And the debut EP is Spectral Aggression. Now, this EP contains, let me see, yes, as I remember, 4 songs, right? Burnt at the Stake, Lost in the Dark, Reborn to Kill, and Strike of the Match. Now, right out the gate, I'm going to say, I've got a little bit of skin in the game here because I got a message via the Acid Rain page from these guys saying, like, would you have a listen to this and tell us what you think?
Yeah.
And this does happen occasionally, and I'm actually just skimming through this, and they sent me this way back in. I'm just seeing our conversation way back in March, and I said, look, I'm really busy at the moment. Send me some reminders to review this, okay? And they were like, yeah, and they did, and eventually I finally got round to it, I mean, it's really kind of old school focused, like nuts and bolts thrash metal, okay? And they're wearing their influences on their sleeve, all of which normally to me would be a turn off. But the vocals kind of take it in a little bit of a different direction, because the vocals, whilst not being death metal vocals, are deathy. They're more death metal than they are thrash metal.
Okay.
Which means that when you put that on top of music that like I said, wears its influence on its sleeve, and they're completely, it's unashamedly kind of thrash metal from back in the day done now. But it just goes to a different place with those vocals on it. So all of a sudden, I was kind of like, initially, the first song I heard is kind of very reminiscent of Megadeth, and I was kind of like, oh right, okay, yeah. But then as it progressed and the vocals came, I was like, okay, right, this I was not expecting. This is not what I expected. And that continues across 4 songs. Now, it's also the kind of thing that I thought when I first played it, I would go, okay, phew, I've got that out of the way. I've played those 4 songs. I can send those guys a message and they can fucking leave me alone.
Yeah.
But what I found was listening to the 4 songs going, I'm going to have to listen to those again.
Yeah.
And then listening to them again and listening to them again. And I've got them in rotation with the various albums I'm listening to at the moment that I've got to keep up with for shows like this. And I really, really like the EP. I'm not saying it's going to change the world. Hey, neither did they.
Yeah.
So let's get that straight. But Spectral Aggression. Now, I think that we should put a song in here at this point. Okay.
Okay.
Or put a song at the end of the episode. Okay, because they deserve some exposure, and the EP is, you can get it from SoundCloud. They're like, Spectral Aggression. That's the name of the EP. I'm just looking at the cover art, and I think you'd absolutely love it. I really do. So yeah, check them out. And Exorcism Thrash on Instagram. Exorcism Thrash on Instagram. And linktree.com, whatever, Linktree /exorcism_thrash. So Exorcism's the band.
I listened to this. This is a fun, because now I'm seeing the
I
actually did listen to this.
Aha.
Yeah. This is a fun EP. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Well, my good friend Charlie Griffiths from Haken and Tiktaalica, he's also liked their EP.
Okay.
And he's a definite connoisseur of the. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there's the EP.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm pretty sure that because there's an up and coming thrash band from here in Houston called Labyrinth, and they promote a lot of other newer thrash bands from all over the place, and
right.
Whenever they do that, I immediately go and check out, especially when you have this kind of artwork. I mean, it's gonna it's, which will be in the video. I mean, I'm sorry, it's on for the podcast people. It's I'm assuming is it Ed Repka? Or it looks like Ed Repka, like it's trying to be an Ed Repka, and I don't care. I like it.
Well, maybe they got my good friend to do it. And I'm not sure if you've seen the Talking Bollocks recently, or played Talking Bollocks recently, but Dan Goldsworthy, otherwise known as Ed Replica, who did the cover of the Tiktaalica album.
Oh, did he do?
Which you really liked.
Did he do
I'm wondering if he might have done that.
Did he do the last Zentrix album cover?
Yeah.
Okay, because that's the same thing where, like, I was going around saying, "Oh, I love the Ed Repka album cover on that Zentrix album," and everyone's like, "That's not Ed Repka." I'm like, "Well, it looks good. Okay, I like it."
but his nickname is Ed Replica, which I think is fucking brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, Ed Repka's still out there doing shit, so I mean, you never know. But Exorcism.
Let's. I'm gonna kind of stick a song at the end of the audio podcast.
Okay.
And stick one in here, and let's give him some props. Let's give him some. And also, it was kind of cool that They approached me out of nowhere. Old granddad of thrash metal. They approached me out of nowhere, and I was like I said, skeptical, and they had to remind me a few times to listen to it.
Yeah.
And eventually got round to it, and I was like pleasantly surprised. And yeah, I kind of really like it. I really like people who just like just thinking out the box, doing whatever they can to get their name out there, and sending it to someone like me when they know I've got a podcast and all the rest of it. Yeah, it makes complete sense. It's what I would have done when I was their age. I'd have annoyed someone like me. And they did. They annoyed me, but in a good way. So good on them.
Yeah. I mean, that happens to me too. Sometimes I get contacted by people I had no idea who they were, and then I become fans. So I'm a fan of their stuff. So, yeah.
Well, I'm playing with them in June, actually.
Oh, sweet. They're playing that. It seems like a pretty big show that's happening.
Yeah, it does. It does seem like a pretty big show. Now, actually, yeah. Well, we were supposed to be playing with them. But yeah, we had to pull that show. So I'm not sure. I'm sure they tagged me recently and said that they were going to be playing with us. So I hope so.
Yeah, I'm sure they will at some point.
Oh, they definitely will. I'll make sure of that.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I'm going to swap around two things I'm talking about because I can make a nice transition into another UK thrash band new album that's coming out. This band is from London, which is your neck of the woods right there.
Yeah, where I'm living.
And it's the second album from Inhuman Nature.
Right, okay.
And this album's fucking great, but it's the best way I can put it, and if you're into the Power Trip side of things, or what's that other band that sounds kind of like Power Trip? There's another band that also.
I know, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
but it's a very raw, old school sounding thrash metal album. These guys, though, the thing that I really enjoy about this album is, whereas a band like Power Trip, you could say it's like thrash, but then there's a little bit of hardcore elements. The thrash in this, almost especially in like the midsections of songs, really brings me back to that late 80s vibe where even in a 3-minute song space, things feel a little more epic, like a little more blown out, like there's a little more ideas thrown in. While still having those fucking chuggy riffs that everybody fucking loves. Everybody that loves thrash metal loves those fucking riffs. The riff happens, and like that's to me straight. Like, you know, that's the sound of like two distorted guitars in either side of your headphones. And once they start doing that, you're just like, oh, this is why I'm into this thrash metal shit. I love it. But they do find a way to like make their songs feel larger than a lot of, you know, other like straightforward thrash bands.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got the raw sort of old school sounding production. It's, you know, not super long. I think it's like about a half hour of an album. And it's got this, you know, this great old school looking album cover with a dude putting a gun in his mouth in the corner. I appreciate that. But it's great. Like I said, it's their second album, and I liked the first one, but I really like this one. And I just, with these newer bands, that's the thing that's so much fun, because we have hindsight now of the original thrash and even second wave thrash and what happened with their albums when they put them out. So you hear bands like this, or in the case of Exorcism, when you were talking about Exorcism, when a band is pretty new, you can't help but think of like, where could they go? Where could they go with this sound? And that to me is super exciting, because in a lot of, you know, nowadays I feel like, or we might be finally getting to a point where I think bands are willing to be a little bit more adventurous in their music while still sort of maintaining their core sound. So I think a band like Inhuman Nature, that's what they've done with this album. And I'm like, well, great, keep at it, because I'm fucking ready to just see where they go. So, great new thrash album. It's called Greater Than Death, and it's Inhuman Nature is the name of the band.
Well, I think we might have played with them. If not, then we should. And
you should
get in touch, guys. And you know, let's sort out a chat for the podcast and all of that. I feel, yeah. I feel I'm letting them down, you know.
Yeah, no,
So you've told me about Propagandhi, and now you've told me about a band from down the fucking road. Okay,
yeah.
So I need to get my shit together. Really, that's what we need. That's what needs to happen here. Well, let's keep that thrash train going, motherfucker.
Sweet.
Yeah, the new album by The Haunted. Now, I was amazed at the fact that. Because I was like, oh yeah, they brought an album out not that long ago. It was like Strength in Numbers, you know, that was 2017. That's fucking 8 years ago.
Yeah.
What?
The weird. There's that weird thing that happened with pandemic time where everything feels everything from 2019, 18, 17 that just feels like it just happened. Like nope. So, bordering on 10
Well,
years.
I know what you mean. But this is Songs of Last Resort. Mm-hmm. And if you're a fan of The Haunted, then I reckon you're going to really like this. This comes out on the 30th of May. And, you know, no fucking about. It's full of huge riffs. It's full of lots of speed. It's full of some great solos. It is just... It's absolutely, yeah, it's The Haunted. I mean, it's like a stick of rock. If this album was a stick of rock, it would have The Haunted written all the way through it. You know, it's just, do they even make rock anymore? Do you know what I mean by a stick of rock? Do you know, is that,
a stick of rock?
Right. Awesome.
I think over here that may have a different connotation. Like right.
Okay. Well, it's like
rocks, maybe.
No. It looks it's candy.
Oh.
Okay.
And
it's
sweets.
And it's tubular, and it's like rock. It's fucking really difficult to break off. And you used to get it at the seaside, not specifically, but and it would have words written through it. So you'd like at one end it would say like, you know, from Scarborough or something like that, and that goes all the way through it. You like break bits off and it just says from Scarborough all the way through it.
Interesting.
And I'm not getting this across really, but anyway, that's where
stick of rock.
Stick of rock.
Now, you know, every time this happens, I have to remind myself, I have the fucking internet. I'm just going to look up stick of rock,
sweet candy
UK.
Whatever, something like that. Yeah. Okay. So while he's doing that, guys.
So it's okay. So it's okay. It's just like a sugar stick, essentially.
I mean, if you really want to reduce it down to its fucking bare essentials, it's a sugar stick.
Well, that's all it is. Like, what the fuck?
Well, isn't that sweets in general? Isn't that candy in general?
There are sweets that have like other things involved, but this is literally like one of those things like that. Like, there's an image.
It's a sugar stick.
It's sugar with other sugar on it and other colors of sugar.
Yeah. Yeah, with things written through it. You could see on that picture there was something written in the end there.
Yeah.
And that runs through it. Fucking hell. We've spent more time talking about
Tobias Forge rules.
Yeah.
On the inside of it.
We've spent more time talking about fucking Tobias Forge and his fucking ghost shit and rock than we have on any of the actual individual records.
Yeah. Well, I love hearing about like UK sweets that I don't know about, because you know on Cranked and Ranked, Eddie and I do that, and I've tried, you know, British sweets from time to time.
Well, get him to send you a stick of rock from Bristol or wherever it is.
I'm going to tell him. I'm going to send me some rock sticks and make sure they got cool messages on the inside.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, anyway.
Brought to you by Stick of Rock.
The Haunted are a bit like a stick of rock. They're...
Yep.
Like, the analogy is fucking dying on its feet here.
Yeah.
It's thrash metal. It's The Haunted, and it's fucking great. I didn't realize how much I'd missed The Haunted until this album came along. And with all due respect to the band, I like they're one of those bands that are they're in people's top fives. I don't know anybody who goes my favorite band of all time, The Haunted.
Yeah.
Okay, and I don't. And it, I'm a fan, but I wasn't sat around going, "Fucking, when are The Haunted going to get a new album out?"
Yeah.
And then it comes out, and you go, "Fucking hell! I didn't realize how badly I needed this." It's
Nice.
one of them.
Yeah, cool.
It's one of them.
I'm not a huge fan, but it is one of the, I know when it comes out, I'm going to check it out. So,
There you go.
anything in that realm, I'm going to check out.
Absolutely. Realm away.
Well, shit. I mean, I guess this is still connected to thrash metal. Very connected to thrash metal. This is more
Fucking hell.
hardcore, though.
All right.
This is the. Do you know this band, Heaven's Gate? There are older bands called Heaven's Gate. This is not them. This is
right. Okay.
This is a side project from Tony Forresta from Municipal Waste.
I thought I recognized the name.
And the drummer is Paul, whose last name is hard to pronounce, from Cannibal Corpse. He's the drummer on this. And this is it's called an album, but it's 19 minutes long. But it's called Tales from a Blistering Paradise, and it is like hardcore punk. It is.
Yes.
It was gritty, unrelenting, 19 minutes worth of shit in your face, and it's fun as hell. And they've only put out one EP prior to this, and then now this is their. I'm going to use the biggest quotations on full length because I love short albums, but 19 minutes is it's a long EP. But
yeah, but hey,
if you
it's
do
longer
this kind
than
of music,
it's longer than Agnostic Front's debut album, Victim in Pain. So
yes, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, but it's really well done, and it's just really like gets your blood boiling, kind of energetic hardcore punk. And at this point, I've found myself becoming a really big Tony Forresta fan, where I like everything he does, because I was already a Municipal Waste fan. And then, Iron Reagan obviously is also great. So at this point, it's just like, when that guy's doing something, just his whole vibe is very infectious to me. So I'm into this band. So yeah, if any of that sounds good to you, Heaven's Gate, Tales from a Blistering Paradise is the newest.
Well,
Heaven's Gate.
I'm scanning through.
Mm-hmm.
I'm scanning through my A Year in Horror podcasts because I think that he was on recently.
Tony
he was on there. Yeah, nice. He was on there talking about a. He was on there talking about a movie, and I can't find it at the moment. But definitely worth checking that out. Worth checking out. I can't find it, but there you go. I'll send you a link later. But
just search Talking Bollocks. Tony
no, A Year in Horror.
Oh, what was it called again?
A Year in Horror.
A Year in Horror. Okay.
Yeah, I do a spin-off Patreon podcast with the presenter and singer, ex-singer of OMS.
Okay.
And we do A Year in Bollocks, where we review one a year.
Go ahead and promote your Patreon here then.
Well, that's another reason why you need to sign up a Patreon, you fucking twats. Mm-hmm. There you go. Yeah. Advert over. Cool. There's loads of content, all the usual shit. Either help out or don't. I don't fucking care. Right.
That's my last one to talk about, by the way, the Heaven's Gate. That's my last one.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, I do want to check that out, and I had heard of it. Mm-hmm. And this is my last one to check out.
All right.
And I've saved the best till last.
I'll be the judge of that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I will, actually, young man. Honestly, I didn't know that I needed a new Haunted album, and I got one.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool. What I really didn't know is that one of my favorite albums of the year so far, and I'm only on about the third or fourth listen, so I think there's a lot more to be revealed yet.
This is a lot of build-up here. This is high praise already happening right out of the gate.
Is the new album by Byzantine. Now... Okay. This is a band that not many, like, you either know or you don't.
You can tell by my face. I do not.
Yeah. Well, I got
with a Z? With a Z?
Yeah. Well done, correcting yourself there. I got into them years ago, and it was kind of like it was a weird story. I got attracted to the album because of the story of the band.
Okay.
Because basically they'd put an album out, but it looked like they were going to split up before the album ever got released, and I was like, "Ooh, I'm kind of, yeah, I'm interested. I'm really interested."
Non-metal
And
band. Good for them.
this is back in 2008, and they called the album "Oblivion Beckons." On that basis, and I really liked it. And they came back with a self-released album 5 years later, just called Byzantine. And then To Release Is to Resolve was again self-released in 2015. And then Metal Blade picked up in 2017 the Cicada Tree, which I've never listened to. And this came through. The album is called Harbingers. And it came through, and I was like, okay. Didn't realize, I thought after 2017 that was going to be it. So another band coming back after a layoff of 8 years. As soon as I played it, the first track, which is like a minute and a half long, it's a kind of acousticy intro. But as soon as I heard it, I just thought, ooh, okay. Like, I mean, there's a lot more of the album to come. This is a 1.5 minute intro, but it's started, positively. And as the album went on, I just started thinking, right, there's a lot here. There's a lot of music here, and that's what stands out for me in the whole album is the musicality of it. Is I mean, there is some lead work on this album, the like of which you would expect to hear from, I don't know, a kind of like 80s guitar god. There is just some absolutely jaw-dropping solos on this album for me, but from the point of view that genuinely I'm thinking, I haven't heard somebody solo like this for years. And it just the vibe, the feel of it, and the beautiful execution of it. But there's all sorts in here as well. At times, it's verging on Opeth-like epicness without any of the kind of death metal overtones. There's 2 guys doing vocals in the band, always has been, which is great. That adds another dynamic. There's real, like, total solid heaviness in this, and there is absolute beauty. It is. Like I said, I'm not a fan of Opeth, but I can imagine that if you were, you'd go, oh, this is Opeth-like. It's got that kind of the epic nature to some of it.
Is it? It's proggy a little, or no?
Yeah, but it's more straight ahead metal.
Okay.
Than proggy, but it's not metal. It's more of a thrash nature. But it's not thrash. It's its own thing. It's its own fucking thing.
It's weird because that's a band name that when I look at the band name, I go, okay, I feel like I've heard of these guys before, but I can't even remember what they sound like. So,
yeah, I mean, there's in the press for it. It says Byzantine has created what may be the crown jewel of their impressive 7-album discography, and for once, the label ain't talking shit. That's bang on. Frontman and founding member Chris Ojeda said, after 25 years of riding the struggle bus, we're ready to show the rock and metal world what we're truly about. We've put all our chips on the table with this album. And I just like, yeah, do you know what? There's a guy who's just going, yeah, we've fucking put it all in. Yeah. Like, so we've, like, if you don't like this, you don't like us, the end.
Yeah.
And it's not that kind of like, oh, fuck me. It's the fucking 5th album in a row where they've said we've captured lightning in a bottle. Oh, I
Yeah.
think this is our best work to date. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
The usual Corey Taylor bullshit. This is a guy who's gone, do you know what? Yeah, 25 years of riding the struggle bus. We finally put out an album where we've gone, do you know what? We've actually managed to capture what we've been trying to do for 25 years. We've actually got there. We finally fucking got there. And I know you're going to like this because it was produced by a guy who produced Soil Work, and it's 9 tracks, 45 minutes.
Okay.
You know, worthy of one of the most commanding and unsung lineups to emerge from the new wave of American heavy metal movement in the early 2000s. So there is a single out called Floating Chrysanthema, if you want to check that out. And there's all sorts lyrically dealt with on the album. There is all sorts of music on there. I think it's the kind of thing that you will find yourself stripping naked and running down the street shouting about it.
Oh, well then, I'm adding it to my Apple Music to check it out here.
Which is a shame as well, because when you do that, you've only just moved into that house, and then you're going to have to fucking sell it and move out the area.
That's all right. We're into the whole home improvement thing, so we can just tear shit down and then build it back up, because that's what we're
Brilliant.
doing.
Yeah, so basically, now this is not out till the 13th of June, so make sure you go and check the singles out, and you fucking put a pin
But
in
I'm assuming
the album coming out.
In this particular case, because it's Metal Blade, I'm sure that since there's already singles out, if you're interested, you can go pre-order it. I'm pretty sure. Go to metalblade.com. Go pre-order.
Yeah, just get on it. Get on it.
Like that's yeah.
I honestly, mate, if I've ever reviewed anything that I've thought, oh, Steve will like this,
Okay.
like this album, and what I said about the solos as well. You will hear that.
Oh, I
You'll be
love.
like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're right. There is a lack of
Steve Vai type licks.
Well, yeah,
do you know what I mean?
But like, I feel like there's a lack of like thoughtful solos done these days, where there's actual work and they're composed.
You are now selling this album to yourself.
Yeah,
because that is it's all in there, mate. It's all in there.
It seems very rare that it happens here and there, but it's very rare. And when I hear those kind of solos, I'm just like, yeah, this is, if you're going to solo, why do you not do it this way? Like, why not?
There's also two vocalists who occasionally sound strangely similar yet different.
And they're just singers. There's no, or they're
they're both musicians as well. So
got it. Okay,
but it's I'm really enjoying it. Really enjoying it. And as much as I said I didn't know I needed the Haunted album. This has just fucking snuck up on me from behind, big time. Because when I saw, I knew the Haunted album, great, and I saw a new Byzantine one, I was like, okay, cool. I loved Into Oblivion, it was great. And then kind of we went our separate ways, and they didn't bring anything out for 5 years, and I thought they'd quit anyway. But then I knew they were back, and I dipped in, and I was like, it's not quite. This is absolutely just like, and like I said, for once, the record label's not full of shit. This is without a doubt the crown jewel. Best thing they've done. Fucking
I'm also very on a similar note. Subject wise, I'm actually very happy that Metal Blade still have people working for them to where they're actually signing and putting out music that's exciting. Yeah. Because there are other labels that are doing good shit too, but like I'm talking about like labels that are that have that kind of notoriety to them. Because I've bitched about it before, but who the fuck is running Earache Records? Give me a fucking break with the shit they're doing. But anyway,
put your cards on the table there, dude.
I'm so because I follow them on socials just to like get mad at them, because like literally every post is about some of the worst fucking music. I'm just like, what the hell is happening? You guys put out all these classic albums, and now I'm just like, fuck that. We don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway, so kudos to Metal Blade because Metal Blade
Yeah,
is fucking
big time.
They signed like 200 Stab Wounds is on Metal Blade. Great fucking band. There's a death metal band from the UK called Celestial Sanctuary who are on Metal Blade now, and they're fucking
Look,
great.
Metal Blade are the label whereby they're probably the only label around now where I will go, if it's on Metal Blade, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
I include Century Media, I include Napalm, I include
Nuclear Blast.
Nuclear Blast in that. It's like Metal Blade for me is the number one, and then those other labels they're all top five, but Metal Blade's the only one where I'm going to listen to that because it's on Metal Blade. The end.
Absolutely agree. That is a thing where I'll just be like, oh, I'm gonna check this out. It's on Metal Blade. And I don't always love it, but I never hate it. So that's that's
they are
something.
the music for nations of their day.
Yeah. Well, I guess back in the day, Metal Blade bands were their UK distribution was Music for Nations sometimes.
Absolutely. I've filled my pockets with free CDs many years ago.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I think I think we need to wrap it up. We do need to wrap it up because I've got to fucking go.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, it's been a pleasure as usual, and thanks to everybody if you're listening to the podcast or if you're watching the video. We appreciate it, and we'll be back again when we're back. That's the thing, is you never know when we're going to come back, and then all of a sudden we're back, and we've got tons of albums. We've got stuff that's out that you didn't know about, and we've got stuff that isn't out that you didn't know about. And so go fill your boots, follow all the bands, like, subscribe, do all that. Yeah.
Hit the bell down the bottom.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Tell your friends, tell your loved ones, whatever.
Yes. Yeah. Tell your friends and loved ones. Fucking hell. Everyone else like and subscribe, guys. Like and subscribe. No. Tell your friends and loved ones about this podcast.
Don't tell anyone about this ever.
Yeah. Keep it to your fucking self. All right. Don't be telling everybody about this.
No.
Jesus, we don't want to get popular.
No,
God.
Not at all. This is an exclusive group here, so welcome.
Yeah.
Anyway,
absolutely.
Welcome and goodbye, everyone.
Yes, welcome and goodbye.